Hi, Graham from Vape Underground, and today we're going to be taking a look at two products. We're going to be taking a look at the new Vapefly toolkit or mini toolkit, and also their latest release, the Jester mouth to lung pod. Join me back here after the quick down below. See you here in a minute. Let's crack on and open up these two fantastic products. First of all, the Vapefly mini toolkit, just to show you the contents quickly, but we'll come back to this. Look at that. Isn't that amazing? Yeah. Anyway, we'll start with the Jester pod. That's what most people are probably here for. And looking at the box, looking around, first a rebuildable dripping pod system, and on the back you've got the contents, the scratch and sniff, the other useful info that nobody ever reads, and on the side there you've got the 7 different variations to the Jester pods. Nice little black case, box, whatever you want to call it. It's just packaging, we don't care. And opening up, inside typically we've got our instruction manuals in lots of different languages, and let's get rid of those. And first of all, the big black box on the right hand side, what we have in here is the extras. So we'll open up this first, and the first thing that you'll find that comes out of the box is the Firebolt cotton and some coils. Ta-da! And then you've got your O-rings, your spares. You're going to need these guys. There are seals and O-rings throughout, and then you've got your charging cable, but you've probably got 1001 if not more. And then you've got a stock coil pod. If you're not into rebuilding, you can use their stock coils. Put this to one side, I'm not going to use that today. And this is the Jester pod. Oh yeah, isn't that nice? Look at it. And there's the charging port on the bottom. You've got a fire button on the side, and you pull off the top cap and it reveals the deck. It's a 2-post deck system, and you've got the fill port there on the side, which I'll show you in a moment as well, but you've got a fill port there, and the cotton goes down onto the deck, which then is fed juice from underneath. To release, you press both buttons on either side, and then that pulls out the cartridge or the pod. Sorry, it's a bit sticky. And on the bottom you can see you've got a stainless steel and a brass pin. Yeah, there we go. And there's the fill port. The grommet's quite hard to push back in. And underneath it's just your connector pins. Quite a simple design. 1000 mAh battery, 5 clicks on. 3 clicks cycles through the different power modes. You've got 3.3 volts, 3.8 volts and 4.8 volts. Looking around the toolkit, we've got some scissors, some ceramic tweezers, a wire brush to clean your coils, and some coil rods, 2.5, 3mm, 3.5mm, and then you've got some cotton and some braided coils, and then you've got 2 Allen keys, different sizes, a Phillips head screwdriver and a flat head screwdriver. These go into another attachment I'll show you in a moment. And you've also got a coily tool to be able to trim your legs off your coils. And you've got some wire cutters or wire snips with a safety locking system on the side. They're actually really sharp, these are, same as the scissors. The scissors are really sharp as well. I've enjoyed using them. No problems at all. And then you've got this bar or a pole system. We've seen this with Coil Master, but it's your tool attachment for your drivers and your rods, but I'll show you that when I do a build. So I'm going to use some 26 gauge wire, a 5/6 wrap round wire build on a 3mm rod, and I'll speed this up so I don't bore you stupid with it, and I'll see you back at the end. Then we can stick the top cap back on, and what I have found is inside the top cap you've got 2 notches and a 1 notch on one side. You'll see it when you get up closer. There you go, there's 1 notch. And if you put the 2 notches towards the rubber grommet or the fill hole, it sits a little bit better, and then we can just take a quick toot. Let's have a pull. From the down below, as you can see, I use their toolkit. Is it any good? Will it work for all vapors? Yeah, it will. It's got all the tools in it that you need, anything from your building tools to your trimming tools and scissors, and it's even got some cotton and some coils in there. There's not much you can really say about them, but it is very handy. It has been living in my bag to go to work. It's very nice, it's portable, it's convenient. If I could show you my pockets, I'd show you it's pocket friendly. So overall, I really like the Vapefly mini toolkit. I think it's a nice little addition with a very hard case. Perfect. Moving on, let's have a look at the Jester pod. And you saw in the down below, it is rebuildable, or you can use stock coils, but we have to ask the question, does it bring anything new to the market that we haven't seen with the thousands of pods that have been released over the years? Quite simply, yes it does. It's a rebuildable pod system. This is something that a lot of vapors have been crying out for and waiting for, and now we've got one. It's very easy to build on. It takes no effort whatsoever. It's very clean, it's very smooth, and it's very, very handy. To rebuild these coils, it doesn't take too much. You have to have an understanding of Ohm's law because you can't build this on a separate regulated device. But if you know what your coil is going to come out at using a calculator as such, then you know you're going to be within the resistances or the tolerances of the pod device itself, which is quite easy to do. As you can see in the video, I had no problems. I wanted to build a 0.5, 0.6 coil, so I used some 26 gauge, wrapped it a few times, 6 wraps I think, and there you go, I've got a nice coil in there. Does it produce vapor? Yeah, it produces vapor. The stock coil though, it does come with some limitations. You have 3 modes in the device. You've got purple, blue and green, which represent 3.3, 3.8 and 4.8. In the rebuildable mode, you can run this at 4.8, 3.8 or 3.3 volts. The recommended ohms for the rebuildable is anything from 0.8 to 1.5. So it's making sure you stay within those tolerances. I would suggest building a little bit higher just to remain safe. For a rebuildable dripping pod system, I have to say that I am very impressed with this. I'm getting great flavour from it. I've enjoyed putting a couple of builds in here. You have to make sure though that you're keeping your diameter of your coil well within those 2 posts, but I find anything between a 2.5mm or 3mm is more than enough to get your build in between those 2 posts. For anybody just getting into vaping or just buying their first pod system, we have to look at the milliamp hours, because if you don't know what they mean, you probably just think I'm saying numbers and letters at the moment. 1000 milliamp hours, it probably won't last you a whole day of vaping this on its own. You would probably want something that's about 1400 milliamp hours, but if you do have access to be able to charge this during the day for when you're not using it, it would probably keep it topped up quite nicely for when you do get home, switch to something else, or able to put this on charge overnight maybe. It does have a child lock function. You can lock the device off, and it also has a lock function to stop the pod being removed. So it's not going to fall out, it's not going to drop off, and if you want to turn it off, it's just 5 clicks and the whole pod turns off. So it's nice and safe. It holds 2 ml of juice, which I think is more than enough for a pod system. If you're using nic salts, I think that's more than enough for a day's use. I normally fill this up once during the day, but I don't go through 2 full pods. It does come in a range of colours, about 6 or 7, some with pictures of jesters on, some which are grey or silvery looking, some which are matte black like mine. But it does give you options if you're looking for a device with a bit of character. So the question of the day, do I like this? Do I love this? Do I loathe this? I was anticipating this being released, and I've waited a long time to get my hands on a rebuildable dripping pod system. I mean, a long time. I've been testing a lot of pods, and I've reviewed a few pods as well, and I have to say this has surprised me and shocked me, and it's very efficient, it's very good. It gives me that dripping flavour but in a pod, and I'm a dripper by nature. I do like an RDA, so this gives me something else to take to work that is going to satisfy that craving and also produce that flavour at the same time. It does have a couple of faults. I think if we're going to look at battery life, 1000 milliamp hour battery, I would like to have seen a little bit more. I would like to have seen that I can remove the deck to be able to build on a regulated device, just so I know exactly that the ohms are right, there's no shorts or anything like that. I would just feel a little bit safer myself, but I'm happy with that overall. On the top of the rebuildable one, the top cap doesn't go down properly, it doesn't fit squarely onto it, but I think as long as you change over the O-rings and you keep an eye on that, it does hold it on, it doesn't fall off. I just noticed that it's got a little bit of play in it. Does it produce a cloud? It produces enough of a cloud. It's not always about big, thick, meaty clouds. Sometimes it's just about getting that craving, that hit, but it does produce. It gives me what I need. I'm getting my throat hit. I'm actually getting more of a throat hit than what I would off most of the pods. And I've actually enjoyed using this. It's been quite comfortable to carry. There's no sharp edges. It fits very, very comfy in the hand. Is it something I would go out and buy? Definitely. I'm into dripping. I like RDAs. I like RTAs. This just gives me a pod system that gives me the flavour that I would expect from them, but with a little bit more convenience. So between taking an RDA to work and a pod, I'm taking both of these, sometimes just to blow a big fat chunky meaty cloud, and then sometimes just to get my craving hit. This has been a winner. I've been Graham, this has been Vape Underground, thank you all for watching. This has been the Jester Pod and the Vapefly Mini Toolkit. Both excellent products, guys. Head out, go and find them, check them out, read for yourself, see if they're the kind of thing that you would like to use. Don't just take my word for it, get your own opinion. As always, please like the video, subscribe, comment, smash the notification bell, do all those things that show me that you're watching these videos. And thank you all once again for watching. We'll see you all soon. I've not gone really. So you think you could tell heaven from hell, blue skies from pain? Can you tell a green field from a cold steel rail? I always sneeze. Moving on, looking at the Jester Pod, there's a lot of pods out on the market.